Greetings! Welcome to episode 59. As always, Sawubona, Dumalang, Kuya, Aunt, Afternoon, Bom dia, wherever the day finds you, halala. So today's episode is titled Liberation from Inflammation. So, yes, I started to experience quite a lot of inflammation in my body, particularly my lower back. My joints started to feel a little bit achy, especially in the sunrise when I used to wake up. And the piece de resistance was my bosom, particularly the left one, and the right one were really, really, really starting to give me a lot of challenges and was starting to lead to quite a lot of concern within my life. So I'm happy to report that I'm inflammation free as it is here now. And I really feel that that's based on my change in lifestyle in many aspects and elements. So I guess a lot of relationships in my life ended. They were what I would deem quite toxic. And please, this isn't a finger pointing exercise. Sometimes we need the mirror in order to see the reflection. So we can take accountability for our own actions and our own beingness and who we are presenting ourselves to be in this wonderful world. And I'm 46 years young, so there's that element of transitioning into a different sphere and aspect of life, and hormones start to change and shift and alter, and I guess I just needed to start making some very visible changes in my life. And I guess that's what the inflammation was there to invite me to do. So, I guess what perhaps we can chat about very briefly, high level, because this is my experience and my view. So please, this isn't a medical report or my suggestion. It's just a personal experience and a personal share. And if it resonates, fab. If it doesn't resonate, just keep scrolling, Yes, I guess the key reasons for me experiencing the inflammation, as I've made reference to, was the lifestyle that I was, I guess, leading at that point in my life a couple of years ago. Not to say that I was leading an unhealthy lifestyle. I felt I was eating really well and I was taking care of my body. I was, exercising moderately and doing all the things that I thought was right. But, sometimes we think that everything is okay. Everything's fine. Please, man, everything's fine. I'm not getting colds. My menstrual cycle's regular. Everything's dandy. And then things start to just appear and show up like a sore back or inflamed bosom, little bumps. And yeah, I just started to feel a little toxic inside. And I guess that was an opportunity for me just to review and check in with the outside. So yes, I guess that's essentially what happened. A lot of relationships changed. My behaviors and my thought patterns started to change. And my lifestyle started to change. So I'm just going to chat about some of the practical stuff that I started to be called to actually do and implement and start actioning upon. So I guess the first aspect and element that came into my awareness was my environment and who I was kind of socializing with and how I was feeling when I was in those spaces and places. So yes, that's created quite a lot of awareness and epiphanies for me. And as challenging and as hard as it is to sometimes bid those elements and those people and those places farewell, it definitely becomes very apparent when you start to feel things in your body. The other aspect and element which I started to incorporate was grounding. So I started to be in nature more, get more sun, go into the forest. I started walking daily. So I still go for daily walks. So every day I go for a walk for around 4 to 6 Ks. If it's raining, if it's sunny, it doesn't matter. I'm walking for 4 to 6 hours a day. And I walk barefoot absolutely everywhere. And I really do feel that that's played such a fundamental role, especially towards the end, and just like really just making me feel so wholesome and so grounded and nourished by Mother Earth. Like really, really. I know some people are like, oh, she doesn't wear shoes. How gross is that? And I'm like, guys, I don't care what anybody says, okay? Because you can't explain a feeling like this. You can only experience it. So I really don't care what people think and say. Grounding and being barefoot for me is such a powerful discipline, because it is a discipline, you know. It's so easy for you just to throw on a pair of shoes. And don't get me wrong, they might look absolutely fab. But I guess I'm here to challenge that little status quo. And I believe the feet are the most beautiful shoe that we could have ever created. And no 2 feet are ever the same. Not even your own 2 feet are the same, okay? So grounding and going barefoot has really transformed and assisted me, I believe. Fasting has been another game changer. Game changer for life. So every quarter, so when the seasons change, I feel it's an opportunity for me to also shed the leaves or allow for the seeds to be seeded, or depending on what time of the year and season it is. But every 3 months, I'm engaging in a 3 to a 6 day water only fast. So depending on how the body feels, depending on how my mind is, I've started partaking in that for quite a number of years now. I'd say for the last 3 years, it's been a part of my quarterly practice, and that has fostered not only a transformation in my physical being, but agility within the mental mind and connection to the ethereal and spiritual world that you can't truly comprehend unless you partake in it. I guess what other aspects and elements? I've stopped eating after 6 p.m. I don't engage in any meals. I try not to, you know, sometimes you do have a little sneaky little yogurt or a little bowl of popcorn or something. But generally, okay, I really try stop any food past 6 p.m. And I've become very mindful of who I share my space and place with. At the moment, I'm staying in a home that actually isn't mine. And that in itself is quite interesting. So I've found myself searching for home within my physical vessel before I can feel a sense of home outside of my physical vessel. That's so interesting how life has literally mirrored that back to me. I guess what other aspects and elements do I feel have assisted in inflammation? Okay, another big one. Huge. Okay. I do every single day without fault. I like to call them lymphatic drainage massages, not exercises rather. Let's call them exercises because they're not massages. Lymphatic drainage exercises. So there's a series of exercises that I do. It's bunny hops and arm swings and trunk torso twists. If you're interested, comment below and I'd be happy to direct you. But they are the same exercise done every single day. So these exercises aren't that hard that the next day you're like stuffed from them. And they're simple and easy to remember, a little challenging enough to get you to, break a sweat, but not challenging enough that you feel so put off that the next day you're like, oh no, I just can't possibly do anything. So I really believe that finding that happy balance is what's really important in fostering and creating discipline and consistency over time. Yes, my daily little lymphatic exercises have really been a game changer. And of course, I do everything barefoot. And yeah, what other aspects and elements would I say have assisted with this reduction in inflammation? Yeah, I'd say that I've covered most of the points. I guess these are the changes and the shifts that I've started to implement on my day-to-day basis that weren't a part of my life, but that are part of my life now. And I can see the visible differences and I can feel the changes within my physical body and vessel. So yes, I guess inflammation for me is quite an interesting one. When I started to experience the inflammation, it was like the body was talking to me very loudly. And I could almost feel it shouting at me, like it was really angry. It was frustrated. It felt suppressed. It felt unheard. It felt unseen. It felt unrecognized. Sound familiar, right? Yeah, that's kind of what I was feeling with my inflammation. So this is an invitation to listen to your ailments. Sometimes we are made so afraid of them. We get a little something in our breast and the first thing we think is like, the big C. You know what I mean? In fact, you can stub your toe and go check it in Google, like go stub toe and you'll see big C. Like everywhere you look, the C, the C, the C. So I guess for me, when the body starts to speak, and this is something that I've practiced since I was a tiny little girl, my experiences with medical practitioners have been very interesting, to say the least. Since I was a tiny little girl, like not even walking, a baby, it's been an interesting journey with medical practitioners. And I don't know why that is. Like, I really don't know. I have stories for days with these kinds of aspects and elements, with needles getting left in my arm, my whole arm being bruised and battered because of the doctor trying to take blood. A liver biopsy, which was debaucherous because there was no anesthesia. There was nothing. I mean, they just stuck this needle this long, that thick, through the intercostal muscle right into the liver, extracted a little specimen with like nothing. Okay. I was told that I wouldn't be able to birth my babies naturally. Well, I did. Just little things like that. Okay, like lots. Just so many stories. And please, this is not to say that I don't believe in the medical fraternity or that there aren't great doctors out there. I'm sure that there are, because for everyone on this side, there has to be another on the other side, right? Because life's about balance. But for some strange reason, my experience has always been, a little trying or challenging with practitioners and doctors and nurses and all those kind of people. So yeah, it's been interesting. So I'm so grateful for that, though, because it's really encouraged me to become my own doctor. And I know some people are like, cringe, what the bitch say? What she say, bitch? But yes, I really do believe and attest to the fact that no one knows and can feel and sense your body better than you can. And I guess that for me is one of the most pivotal and important aspects and elements, is to like know your body. Know when it's not feeling 100%, regardless of what the tests are saying. Or know when it's like, when it is okay, when the tests are saying something else, you know? So yes, I guess fostering and connecting with the physical body is something that I've been so grateful for, and is something that I truly believe that I came here in this life to experience. I do believe we are sent to this planet at particular points in time to experience what we feel we need to experience for our expansion and for our growth and for our own evolution. And I guess, yeah, for me, that aspect and element of understanding my physical body and emotional state and how the two are interlinked and interplay with each other, I believe is quite a big part of why I'm here. But yes, your magical being, it's 16:15 on the timer, 16:16 actually, as I look up. And I guess I'm feeling that there are no other real messages for me to share in this here now moment on this episode 59. I feel that this episode was actually just a little litmus, a little sample, a little, what's that French word? Aperitif, you know, little aperitif into the physical body and aspects and elements like inflammation and the breast and all those kinds of aspects and elements. And I feel that maybe spending a little bit more time on each area and each inflamed zone might actually be a little bit more beneficial and perhaps be a little bit more tailored and speak to the right people for those particular episodes or points in time or parts of the body. You know what I mean? I feel like today's been a bit of a rambling, actually. I feel like my head's a bit all over. But yes, perhaps the final thought to leave you with is one of empowerment, and one that I hope, trust, and pray fosters the belief in oneself and the belief in the knowing that the physical vessel is the most supreme machine that we can possibly imagine. And if we just allow ourselves to become comfortable with the uncomfortable and invite curiosity and invite learning and inquisition, or yeah, let's stick with curiosity. I like that one. And, you know, if we invite those aspects and elements in and we allow them to be far greater than the fear and the doubt and the worry, because wow, you know, when I had an inflamed breast, let me tell you guys, the first thing and the first place that I went to was the fear. Horror stories, literally horror stories for days. I had visions, you know, and yeah, it took quite a bit of work and quite a lot of discipline and quite a lot of consistent action for me to shift and change the narrative in here, through here. And I guess I'm living testament to how your body can heal. It really can. In fact, your body can do the most tremendous things. We have to believe that it can, because without the belief, there can be no perceived action. I guess, you know? So yes, magical human, as always, continue to sow those seeds. Allow for the flow of life to find you so that you can ultimately grow, illuminate, and glow. Until tomorrow's episode, which is number 60. Oh my gosh, 60. I've been doing this for almost 2 months, guys. Oh my God. I think this is what I'm going to look like when I'm older, maybe. I don't know. What do you think? Do you think it becomes me? You know? If you've made it this far, well done, you. Well done. I'll see you tomorrow for episode 60. If you haven't seen any of my other episodes, let's maybe change it up like this. If you haven't seen any of my other episodes, and this one, for some strange reasons, spoke to you, then just go check out some of my other ones. Some are shit, some are good, some are okay, some are meh. But it's alright. You know, you don't have to watch the whole thing. Commitment. Just watch the ones that really resonate with. I can't do this one very well. And the ones that you don't, yeah, it's fine. Someone else will resonate with them, so it's okay. Check you tomorrow, chicas and chicos. Ciao, ciao.